Hi, I do guided meditations here monthly, specifically designed for those on their cancer journey. So check the previous ones I've done if you haven't done them yet, and check back here for more. But today will be a bit of an oddball out. You see, guided meditation is somewhat of a misnomer. The true term is guided visualization, but I will keep calling them guided meditations because that's what people search for and understand. And guided visualizations, like the ones I've done and will do, are great to do. They have an intended purpose, they take you on a journey, but they don't count as your daily or if you don't do them daily, that's fine. But they don't count as a meditation. They don't count as a true meditation, is what I'm trying to say. Meditation is focus. Meditation is mind training. Meditation helps us unplug from the monkey mind, the default mode network, the automatic unconscious thoughts, and can, with some time, but not actually that much time necessarily, allow us to connect with the stillness of our spirit, the love of our heart, the higher dimensions, and the real truth of what is. By the way, hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Matejka, naturopathic doctor, energy worker, and transformational life coach. And I help those with cancer awaken their own healing abilities and navigate them back to health, to an even better state of wellness and health than before, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and even spiritually. And today, I'm going to do an actual guided meditation as a one-time thing and the true term meditation. So this is literally meant to be done, like with this video guidance, a couple few times tops. And then it's something that you do on your own without this video guidance. Does that make sense? It's like training wheels, you can think of it as. Today's practice is perfect for beginners and can actually still be helpful and insightful for intermediate meditators as well. So before we get to our demonstration, well, it's not a demonstration, you'll be doing it with me. Before we get to the actual practice part, I must clear up a common misconception about meditation and the reason many people don't do it, don't begin, or quit. The goal is not to not think. The goal is not to not have thoughts. That is a game you can't win. The goal is to not process those thoughts, not identify with those thoughts, not be led on a leash by those thoughts, but to simply observe, allow, let go. So, for example, you're going to have thoughts. That's normal. That's actually supposed to happen. And it's okay, it's good. The goal is to it's not about not having those thoughts, it's about learning how to return to focus. So say you have a thought. Okay, so this is the proper way. This is not the demonstration, by the way, but it's a bit of a demonstration. Okay, I'm meditating, I'm focusing. Oh, I notice a thought. That's okay. I notice it. Now I come back to my focus. Oh, I notice a thought. That's fine. Coming back to my focus in a state of calm, neutrality, non-judgment. So here's what you don't do. I'm meditating. I'm having a thought. Oh yeah, what about that thing? Oh yeah. Okay, and if I don't do that, then I got to do this. Oh, that'll make me mad. Oh, this reminds me of that one time when you see the difference? You don't be dragged around by the thought. You don't let it snowball into more and more thoughts. You are the master of your thoughts. That doesn't mean they're not there. They can be there. So yeah, it's kind of like watching clouds pass by in a sky. You don't need a sky with no clouds. Clouds are fine. but you just watch them go by. You help usher them out, you help escort them away, and not by forcing, like, get out of my head thought. No, you just move your focus. That's all it is. Because if you're like, try to not have thoughts, try to not have thoughts, try to not have thoughts, you're naturally, it's like there's this contrarian nature within yourself where it's going to make you have more thoughts. And even if you manage to not have thoughts, then you'll notice, wow, I'm having no thoughts, and that's a thought. It's a hamster wheel to nowhere. It's a game you cannot win. So don't try to not have thoughts. It's certainly something that can't be forced. Again, the goal is to notice when the thought pops in and then just bring your focus back. Okay, so the question is, well, okay, that still doesn't help. Where is my focus supposed to be? What focus? And this may be a little challenging at first, but okay, so here's the different things you can focus on. So there's many different ways to meditate, and I'm only going to go over a few of them, but because this is like a one-on-one type thing. So what do you focus on? What do you bring your focus back to? That's up to you. So the common one is the breath. That's why it's so common that people focus on the breath. So that's one place your focus can be, is the breath. But even that's not good enough, because we're always breathing, doesn't mean we're always focusing on it. So that's why you take it a step further. When you decide, if your decision is to focus on the breath, you also have to pick a certain area of the body where you'll notice that breath. It could be your nostrils. That's where you could focus on the breath going in and out of. So you focus on the feeling and the awareness of the breath going in and out of the nostrils. That's your focus. Or it could be what's called the dantian, which is, because you can't see it. It's basically below the navel. Below the navel, you can focus on the breath, expanding your belly on the inhale and the belly going in on the exhale. You can focus on the movement of the abdomen with your breath below the navel. Or you can focus on your third eye and the breath going in and out of there. That's slightly more advanced. Most people can understand the breath going in and out of the nostrils and the breath expanding and contracting the abdomen. And that's another reason why people can sometimes will make their breath make noise. So it's easier to focus on the breath when it's a bit noisier. This is called Ujjayi pranayama. And you're also known as ocean breath, where you're making your breath, you're like kind of like constricting your throat, the soft palate back there, to make it make a noise, kind of like this. Except you have your mouth, you can do it with and you should do it with your mouth closed, because it's best to breathe in and out of your nose. But just for the purposes of sort of showing you the noise, it'll kind of sound like this. Kind of sounds like snoring, but your mouth would be closed, so I don't think you can hear this, but it's definitely more audible. You can definitely hear it more when you constrict the throat a little bit. So those are ways you can focus on the breath. Choose one. Don't do all. Choose one. Another thing you can do, and it brings me to the next category, is you can focus on a sound, just like the ocean breath we just did. That could be the sound you're focusing on, which is the sound of your breath. It could also be any type of sound, really. A waterfall is a good one. That's why a lot of people have water features in their meditation rooms. But it could just be the sound of a fan, the air conditioner. But it's best to have like a steady sound, not something that's unpredictable or in and out, something that's kind of steadily there. You can focus on a sound. And then another one is to focus with your eyes on a sight, on an object. And traditionally, a candle flame is used for this. So focusing on a candle flame is a great way to meditate and have a focus. But it could be anything. It could be a leaf, a crystal, not anything too complex. Oh, another thing you can place your focus on is a mantra. So a mantra is not something like an affirmation, like I am wonderful, I am loved. Those are great things to do, but a mantra is more like something that's not in English, something that's Om, for example, or Om Namah Shivaya, those sorts of things, the more traditional chants. And you can do these internal, you don't have to say them out loud. You can just in your head focus on it, or you could chant them out loud. And this can help the focus. And there's other benefits as well, since there's meaning and vibration in those chants. Om is a really powerful one. It's like the primordial sound. It's the frequency of the earth's rotation around the sun. It has a lot of great meaning, and I'm sure you've all heard that before. So it would be something like, you could do this inside your head, but if you did decide to chant, it would be something like this. It also is really good for vibrating. If you do the out loud ones, it's great because it vibrates the heart space and helps self-love. And notice my voice was not perfect. It doesn't have to be, okay? And those are some of the most common ways to have a focus in meditation. So then there's questions like, okay, how long should I meditate for? And I recommend setting a timer so the mind's not worrying, like, oh, should I stop now? Set a timer with a nice alarm that's like chimes or birds or nothing too jarring. The amount of time is not super important. Anything is better than nothing. 1 minute's better than 0. 5 minutes is better than 1. 20 minutes is a really good rule of thumb because, yes, there's benefits for advanced meditators over 20 minutes, but even those are marginal. 20 is a good one to aim for. But again, start small, start at 5 minutes, start at 10. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be better than nothing. And where to meditate, preferably somewhere where you will not be disturbed by pets, kids, that sort of thing. Obviously, don't do it while driving. Work is probably not the best place. How to have your body. Lying down is not out of the question. It's just not recommended, especially for beginners, because you could fall asleep. And if you're falling asleep, then you're not meditating. But otherwise, lying down is okay if you can stay awake and alert. Sitting is perfectly normal, is kind of the way to do it. Traditionally, yes, it may have been on meditation pillows on the floor, but you don't have to do that. You can you can sit on your couch, you can sit in a chair, it doesn't really matter. Ideally, your spine is erect, and there's somewhat of a straight spine, but if it's just natural for you to hunch over a little bit, hey, it's not the end of the world. You're still going to get benefits of meditation. When to do it? The best times are really after you wake up and before you go to bed, because you're transitioning from more of a theta brainwave state, and that can therefore it's easier to kind of slip back into that theta or alpha state. But it is also good to do in the middle of the afternoon, especially when you get home from work, because it's a good way to sort of reset and cleanse yourself so that you're not bringing in some of that energy to like your family or whatnot. Really, any time is great. So there's some good 101 beginner pointers. And so now you pretty much already know how to do it. But for the purpose of this being a true guided meditation, I will do a little demo with you that you can follow along with when you are ready. And I may not choose the one of your choice. So I recommend trying all those different ones out. Like I'm not gonna do the candle one. I'm not gonna do a mantra one. I'm not gonna do the sound one. Let's do the breathing one. We'll do the breathing one together. This is my favorite one, the one I typically do. And this is the one where we focus on the breath a few inches below the navel as it slightly expands on the inhale and contracts in on the exhale. Okay, so get ready for that, and I'll see you in a second. So you'll have to try the other meditations on your own, the other types of focus if you want to try them. This one we're going to focus on our breath with our mouth closed, breathing in and out of the nose if possible, and noticing the breath moving in the area known as the dantian, a couple inches below the navel. And you're not forcing your belly to expand super much, but maybe a little bit if you're not used to belly breathing. Just a little bit of a protruding out on the inhale and a little moving in on the exhale. Gentle, not too forced. And you're not breathing super differently, maybe just a little slower and a little deeper than normal. Okay, so when you're all in your comfy spot, let's begin. Oh, and if you're wondering what to do with your hands, again, it's not that important. It doesn't really matter. A good thing I like to use as a rule of thumb is I place them palms up on my legs if I want to be receptive and open, and I place them palm down on my legs if I need more of a grounding and to ground into my body and myself. But whatever is comfortable is a good place to put them. And of course, there's different hand, mudras they're called for. It's more of an advanced technique, but it can help the energy flow. But we don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, so all you're doing is you're starting to notice your breath, something we don't typically notice throughout the day. You may notice that it starts to slow down on its own. We don't have to really force anything here. As we calm down, the breath may get a little deeper, a little slower, and that's good. Without forcing, try to breathe a little deeper and slower than normal. And all we're doing is focusing on the area a couple inches below the belly button. And we're noticing what happens there with the breath. We're noticing that when we breathe in, it gets a little fuller. And when we breathe out, it regresses inward a little bit. We're just noticing that. We're noticing the movement of the breath in and out of that area below the belly button. And we're trying to focus on it and pay attention to it. This is where the mind training comes in because we're so used to being distracted by so many different things. That's literally all we're doing, is breathing a little deeper and slower and noticing the breath as it affects the abdomen below the belly button. And don't worry, you're not doing it wrong. You can't do it wrong because you're practicing. Might have some thoughts like, this isn't very comfortable. I wonder how long this is going to be over. Does this really have any benefit for me? Is this worth my time? So some thoughts you might have. Or you might be thinking about what you're going to do after this, all the things you have to do today, what you're going to have for dinner, for breakfast. Might be worrying about your kids. You might be, any number of things can be happening in your head right now. All you got to do is have the acknowledgement like, oh, that's a thought. Now I'm going back to the breath in a state of calm, neutrality, and non judgment. Remember, we just don't want to be led by the thoughts. We don't want to process them, identify with them, be pulled along by them. We're just not giving them as much of our attention. We're like, oh, yep, there you are. I'm going here, though. I'm going to the breath. I'm going to see what's going on with the breath. I'll catch you some other time. That's essentially what you're saying. You might notice you start to feel a little calmer, a little more relaxed. That's what happens when we deep breathe. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And you may have noticed some thoughts are trying to worm their way in. Some thoughts are trying to get your attention. Remember, you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are trying to get your attention. And all you're doing is saying, not right now. I'm focusing on my breath. I'm focusing on my dantian, on the abdomen, going out on an inhale, in on an exhale. And your mind may try to trick you like, that's boring. It's way more fun to think about all these things we need to think about. So don't fall for that. Because trust me, you'll have a much better time once you get more adept at doing this. And funnily enough, those thoughts that you think of as problems, you'll be able to handle those better too when you can have focus. So, all we're concerned about right now is absolutely nothing in the world and everything with our breath. Making that abdomen go out a little on the inhale and in a little on the exhale. Just noticing it. You don't have to force it. And there's no need for any hostility towards your brain or any emotions, any negative emotions whatsoever. It's simply a, uh-huh, I have thoughts, I'm a human, that's normal, but I also have the power to be able to focus. And that's what I'm going to do right now, focusing on my breath. Just for these several minutes. It's not like you have to maintain this throughout the whole day. Now that would be really hard. This is your sacred space and sacred time to honor yourself in this way. So just focus on the breath. Another thought comes, that's okay. Bring the focus back. Soon the focus will be so strong that the thoughts will more so be in the background and you won't even hear them. But when you do, it's okay. Because it'll be so easy to bring your focus back. And if you need to move a little bit because you're uncomfortable, you will get more comfortable in time. The more you do this, it will actually get more comfortable. But if you need to shift or move a little bit, it's okay. Just bring your focus back. Bring your focus back. You may even feel like, I don't think this is meditating. I don't think this is anything. I don't feel that much different. It's okay if you feel that. Remember, these things take some time, some commitment, some consistency. If you keep doing this, you will definitely notice improvements over time. So don't get caught in that mind trap. Even just having the discipline, the love, you could say, for yourself to give yourself the space and time to do this, even if you feel it doesn't go well, that is still a total success. And it is doing more than you realize. Keep focusing on the breath, on the abdomen. And we're going to bring this to a close. Especially for beginners, we don't need to go that long. It doesn't have to be a super long thing. So, if meditation has been hard for you in the past, I hope this helped. And doing this, I'll do another video on all the benefits of meditation. but doing this every day, you cannot even begin to understand all the benefits this has for your body, mind, and spirit. So, with that said, thank you all for joining me. Much love and namaste.